It's 2010, and the son of a gambling addict who's dedicated his whole life to getting revenge on the bookies is staring at his bank balance. There's 7 zeros. It's plenty. But now, he wants more. Not more money though. He wants something else. Because he's worked out how to beat sports betting with a genius strategy which has earned him millions and millions of dollars. He's had the bookies, who ruined his family's whole life, begging on their knees. But that isn't what he came for. There's a nagging voice in the back of his mind saying his work's not done, and the question he's asking is, what's next? To find out, we need to go back to the start of his journey more than 10 years earlier. It's spring in the year of 2000, and in a dreary strip mall in Winnipeg, Canada, a 25-year-old baggage handler walks up to the counter. Haralabos Voulgaris, or Bob to his friends, is thinking about one thing he loves most: sports, soccer, ice hockey, and of course, most of all, basketball. His father, a great businessman, was a degenerate gambler betting on a hunch, always in debt. They'd had to sell their house, the business, everything, 3 times, and the bookies showed no mercy at all. So Bob wants none of that. He wants solvency, but he also wants respect, and he's got a plan to get both, which will take him several years. But what's crazy is that the very thing that ruined his family's life, betting, is also his own way out. And his next bet is one he's about to place right now. It's his key to escape the hatch, his entire life savings of $80,000 for a chance to get out of Winnipeg and fast forward his life 5 years. Because he's about to go all in on the LA Lakers to win the NBA championship in several months' time. The odds are long, 6.5 to 1, so the bet looks wild. But if it wins, his life gets started. If he loses, of course, he's finished. But he won't lose, because he's keeping a secret, which the sportsbooks don't see coming. Bob's bet is not based on luck, but on leverage. His drug isn't gambling, the adrenaline of the long shot, it's the thrill of working things out, and he knows that he can better than the bookies because they don't understand basketball the same way that he does. Now recently, the Lakers have been a washout, hence the odds, but he sees it differently. He knows it's different because he's been studying. They have Shaq and they have Kobe, and they might have been underperforming, but they now have a legendary coach, Phil Jackson, whose teams always peak when it matters. So when the Lakers begin their run, he isn't surprised. They steamroll the West, then sweep through the finals, and when the confetti drops in June 2000, his bet collects $600,000, over $500,000 in profit. And he doesn't blink. It's simply confirmation that the sportsbooks are beatable. It's just the beginning. He'll take his dad's shame and then flip it. He has the bankroll, a philosophy, and a chance to wreak revenge. The only question is, how far can he take this? By 2001, betting is now Bob's full-time job. Not gambling, sharp betting. Finding an edge and exploiting it, because the basketball market is still vulnerable. And as he settles into his new life, watching hundreds of games and honing his instincts, he notices something about second halves. What happens in second halves, fourth quarters especially, is different. With more fouls, more free throws, bench rotations to rest players for the match end, and more timeouts so players can rest and coaches can do their thing, there's a burst of scoring. Fourth quarters score high, but incredibly, the bookmakers just seem to ignore this by arriving at a total for the full game and then dividing it into equal parts. So when a star player picks up a third foul late in the second quarter, Bob knows that the coach will probably rest him in the third, and he'll then fly in on the fourth. Or when a fast-paced team is playing in Denver, struggling with the altitude, he knows the fade will come, and the opposition will strike. He doesn't bet based on vibes, he bets on the things the bookies are overlooking. He has other secrets too. He ignores what coaches should do because he knows that what they will do. Eddie Jordan, Jerry Sloan and Brian Scott especially, based on hundreds of previous games. And then to stick to his principles, staying calm and unemotional, he turns down the volume on the TV and turns on a metronome. And tick, 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 boom. He's betting big, making millions of dollars. He hits second half overs, third quarter unders and one team totals. He's not chasing outcomes, he's exploiting what earlier outcomes are bound to lead to, and the bookies just don't see it, not yet. But if he keeps slam dunking them, how long can he stay invisible? By 2004, the answer becomes clear. Those second half markets, his bread and butter, are no longer doing the business, because the sportsbooks have finally caught on. Since the 2002-2003 season, The league had made play-by-play information available to the public. The Vegas-run sportsbooks he was once rinsing daily are now using whole teams of analysts to get one step ahead. They've moved the lines, and for the first and only time, Bob's bets get emotional. He keeps firing, game after game, and he keeps losing. So he chases his losses, trying to win it all back, and sheds a third of his bankroll in a single month. He can't blame bad luck. The truth is that the opponents he once beat are no longer around. They got smart, because he did. And now it's him who's falling behind, so he makes a snap decision, and it's the last one that anyone expects. In late 2004, he chooses to step away, to take the whole of the 2004-2005 NBA season off. But first, he doesn't even look to return gambling. Instead, he touts himself around the NBA itself. "I could put together a better team than almost any general manager in the league," he tells them. But they don't want to know. One coach doesn't believe in data at all. Bob asks him, "Who knows you better, your wife or your Google search history?" So he goes back to betting, except now he doubles down on data and takes it one step further. Combing database handicapping, basing decisions on past events with instinct is no longer enough. Vegas and the growing world of online sportsbooks he'll now deal with have adapted from a rule of thumb approach, and in the process they've created full modelling algorithms. To get his all-important edge back, he must do exactly the same, but better. To help him, he knows that at the heart of every great endeavour, where the little guy beats the big guy, there's the right people. Before that, it was just him. Now he needs help. Talent, so he starts to search. There are several tryouts and bad fits, then finally he gets his man. He's not just another boffin, but a total prodigy who'd scored a perfect 800 at the math portion of the SAT. And here's the thing, he has zero interest in basketball. He's perfect. All logic, no emotion equals total control. Once, of course, they've developed their system, and that's the hard bit. Bob calls this man the Wiz, and the Wiz starts coding the most sophisticated predictive sports model in the world. Bob, meanwhile, watches more basketball than any other human alive. 400 games a season from beginning to end, at least 1 or 2 quarters of maybe 85 to 90% of games. And then they test, improve, test and improve some more. And for a long time, it just doesn't work. The modelling is off, and it needs to be perfect. He'll be making thousands of bets now, each with much smaller margins, and there cannot be any risk. Not over time anyway, because that means you're gambling, and he never wants to gamble. He wants to feed the fat cats. Instead, he wants to be respected for being one step ahead, and at the moment, he isn't. But he keeps investing in the one guy who can help him change that, the Wiz, giving him a share in the enterprise while his own personal fortune slowly ebbs away. In 2005, progress continues to be slow, until eventually version 1 is launched. It's called Ewig, after a legendary Knicks centre, an inside joke about the Ewig theory, where teams play better when their star is out. The algorithm means he's running hundreds of bets at a time across multiple markets. In 2006, 2007 and 2008, he makes a modest profit. Nothing spectacular, not yet. But in 2009, that moment finally arrives. In the background, he and the Wiz, identity still unknown, have rebuilt the model from scratch, and then it's eventually ready for launch. Ewig 2.0. It incorporates more data than ever before, with feeder models called Van Grundy and Morey. It starts with predicting every single possession, sucking up everything from travel schedules to referee tendencies, and then spits out a score. And it will do this for every game in the season. But will it work? When the second half of the NBA season begins after the All-Star break, they run Ewig 2.0 for the very first time, and they crush it. Precision gives Bob power. Game after game, his model hits. He's staking up to $80,000 a game, has a network of employees, a database of statistics and predictive models that far surpass what many NBA franchises have available to them. He's regularly laying up to $1 million a day, and he has an unholy win percentage approaching 70. It's a run that's so strong it changes everything. His bankroll is now beyond challenge. His status is cemented. He will never be poor again. No more chasing, no more gambler's shame. The ghosts of his past are gone. He's beaten the sportsbooks, and they won't be catching him in a hurry unless they play dirty. And he knows they will, which is why, to fight back, he decides to play smart. It's 2011. Bob knows that every time you make a bet, you're educating the people taking the bets. They figure stuff out based on what you've already figured out. But as it will take them years to get ahead of this curve, they instead just restrict his accounts, even closing some for no apparent reason to force him out of the game. And Bob's ready. He uses shell accounts, gets trusted runners to lay bets for him, bids as he calls them, even famous faces like Floyd Mayweather places wagers. But he's slowly moving on anyway to what he's always really been after. He's come a long way. He travels by private jet, hangs with the famous and lives in the Hollywood Hills. By now, he's a poker celebrity too. From Vegas to Macau, he talks basketball on podcasts with Bill Simmons. He's a cult figure, and whilst he once wouldn't have been interested, head down, focus on the numbers, now he is, because he's helping them get what he really wants. Respect. Because deep down, Bob doesn't just want to beat the game, he wants to be in it. He doesn't want to live off sport, he wants to be at the heart of it. And now finally, the NBA comes calling. First, he works as a private consultant. Teams and advisors are trying to mine his knowledge as fast as they can. Then in 2018, he lands a role as the Director of Quantitative Research and Development for Mark Cuban's Dallas Mavericks. It's a proper job. He's helping shape player rotations, draft strategy, late game decision making, the very things that he once exploited. He's no longer betting on basketball, he's making basketball better. But even now, with a franchise jersey on his back and the front office keyboard in his hand, there's still a twist to come. In 2021, Bob Voulgaris walks away from the Mavericks. Some never fully embraced him. Many say that the coach, Rick Carlisle, never wanted him there at all, a gambler. But Bob doesn't need their validation. He's made his point, and he's ready for another bet, his biggest yet. He now wants to make the big decisions, so he buys his own club, not in the wholesome NBA, which is still less keen to embrace him, but in soccer. In July of 2022, Bob acquires the lower league Spanish soccer team, CD Castellón. He admires the work of the English clubs like Brighton and Brentford, and from day one, like them, he does it all with data. And this isn't just Moneyball. Finding undervalued players, he's working across strategy, tactics and team construction too. Our models give us a 53% chance of winning the league, he claims in his first season. And they do, winning the division for the third tier of Spanish football. Some see it as a miracle. The goal is to set CD Castellón back to the top, La Liga, for the first time in over 30 years. He sees it as inevitable. From the son of a bad gambler to the smartest bettor in the NBA history to a data-driven owner, Bob Voulgaris has done what very few thought was possible, rinsing the house and then reshaping the sport itself, all on his own unique terms.